Welcome home. This is the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. Come right this way. Have a seat with me today in the corner booth celebrating our 51st week. And boy, we've got over 3 million served this year. That's hits, that is. That's pretty darn good. And Sweeney, bar that door, and Molly, put on another cup of coffee. We're getting ready to go. I'm OLaughlin, your host, and you can always reach me on my webpage at irishroots.com. And while you're there, you can check out all that we have to offer in the way of books and tracing family in Ireland and in other parts of the world. And be sure to check out the show notes on my blog. Gives you some links and things that I couldn't give over the air here. And remember, you can also phone 816-256-3360 anytime and leave your comments or your family search or your favorite song or recitation if you want to. We're looking for just about everything anymore, so please do feel free to do it. Try it, you'll like it. That's just another free service from the Irish Cafe, and you know why that is? That's because every day is a holiday at the Irish Roots Cafe. Well, what do we got coming up today? Let's look at our topics. Phillips or MacPhillips is the family name of the week, and Scotland's first family history center is up and running. Irishphiladelphia is the website of the day, and we've got some members searching for O'Sullivan, Gillis, and O'Malley. Families of County Limerick is going to be the book of the month. And what about a maternal DNA test? Is that really what you're after? You got to be careful what you see advertised. And this one's coming up from Canada. Remember to get all three of our podcasts here at the Cafe. We've got 3 of them now. You're listening to the Irish Families podcast, the first one, the Irish Roots Cafe podcast. But there's also a podcast on the Irish in America and a broadcast on Irish song and recitation. So take advantage of that, especially over the holidays when you get the time. Now let's look at what I've been up to in the last week or two. The Irish Song and Recitation broadcast. We picked the song Danny Boy, talked a little bit about its history, and sung the song itself. That was sung by Peter Adams, so he did that really well, a solo performance. And the Irish in America broadcast, I'm finishing up on the Kansas City segment, and we'll probably move on to a couple on St. Louis, and then who knows what state we'll be doing next, or city. Be sure to pitch in if you can help on doing that now. And I'm trying to find some time to post some new pages just for member searches, and I hope to get that done before the end of the year. But, you know, it's been such a busy year, and I've been doing so good just talking over the web. I forgot to send out renewal notices to members the whole year. Actually, I didn't forget. I just didn't have time, and I could pay the light bill, so I didn't get to it. But now I'm on to my New Year's resolution, so I'll be sending those out. You can save me the trouble on that if you just send yours on in. You can enroll or make a donation from my webpage, or just send me an email if you can help out in any way at all. I think we've got to move on now to our book of the week. Families of County Limerick, Ireland by OLaughlin. That's me. And that's going to be our book we're going to take a quick look at. And I'll just take a sample extract. I'll put the extract as it appears in the book on the webpage and just make a few notes right now. We talk about how the ancient historian Ptolemy gave the people of Limerick recognition, and even though Limerick is included in the kingdom of Thomond, which also Clare is too, the area has links to other geographical divisions too. And we can read of the Oanach Aining Cliac. Boy, I don't know if I got that right. You're going to have to read that one. And that refers to the Eugenians, or the Eugenians of South Munster. That's the province of Munster, that was divided into 5 pieces or cantreds. And one was held by the O'Kerwicks and the or sometimes known as the Kerwins, And subsequently, the O'Briens came in. Of course, we all know about how Brian Boru and the O'Briens came to prominence all over that area, especially up there in County Clare. And when they did, the name of Pub O'Brien was given to that area, that barony. One of the other areas we recognized was Onibeg, and that was held by the Orions or the Ryans of that area. Another area was Kinry, that was held by the O'Donovans. And if you look at the baronies of Upper Canello and Kashma, they were held by the McInerys and the O'Sheans. And lastly, Lower Canello or Canala was held by the Keneallys or the O'Tians. O'Tians. I wonder what names that's supposed to be. I'll have to think about that one. They spell it in the book as Othyans. Maybe it's Tihan. Yeah, that might be O'Tihan. Every day is a little experiment in research and detective work. And you also read that way back when Limerick City was known by its more Gaelic-sounding name, of course, and they called it Limerick of the Ships. And the city first came into prominence as a port when the Vikings came and established a port there, and they came from the Hebrides in the 10th century. And before the arrival of the English, the Vikings, or the Ostmen, as they were also called, held the city of Limerick and the island of Enniscattery on the Shannon River, and that, time-wise, was for the 9th to the 11th centuries. And they were ousted from power. As we noted above, the O'Briens moved in there, and the people they pushed out, that was the Vikings. Of course, there were Vikings on both sides of the battle when Brian Boru fought. A lot of people don't dig that far into history, but there sure were. There were Irish fighting with the Vikings and against the Vikings. It's an interesting story. And after that conflict and Brian Boru coming to power, the O'Briens ruled from Limerick, holding the entire kingdom of Thomond, including Limerick itself. And we also got a note here in 1175, Raymond Le Gros, a Norman, held the city. Well, that's all the time we've got for that today, folks, but that's a nice little introduction. And coming up later in this episode, we've got PH times 2, Phillips and MacPhillips family notes, and Philadelphia Irish link. Sounds interesting? What do we have now but the member shootout? Let's take a few folks at random from the last week and say hello and let people know what's going on. William Gard is a member from Stratford, Canada, and he writes that he was born in Tralee and his mother, Mona O'Sullivan, was the daughter of Christina Foley. William, your 2 books on Kerry have shipped. Daniel F. Gillis is a member from Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, looking for Gillis. And he writes that he needs to confirm prior history of William Gillis, who was born around 1750 and had the sons Joseph, John, and daughters Nancy and maybe Violet. Let me see. And it said all came to the USA except for William. Okay, that's good. Daniel, your free birth index for joining up as a member is on the way too. Then we've got Declan Hurley of Limerick, Ireland. Your Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters has shipped, and I think that's a gift from someone very special. Bob Donlin of Cohoes, New York. Congratulations, your copy of the Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters, the 2-volume set, has shipped as well. And Roisin Lindsay of Windsor, you're a member, and you write that you're trying to find your grandmother, Nora O'Malley from Galway. And her father was John J. O'Malley, and mother was Bridget Joyce on her marriage certificate anyway. And Nora married my grandfather, Bernard Nugent, in the U.S., she writes. She says, but he was also from Ireland. His name was Bernard Nugent, and he was from Armagh. That's up in the north of Ireland. Well, let me see. We've got time for just a couple of more. Heather Dawes of East Victoria, Australia. Your Families of County Donegal has shipped. and Roy Maguire of County Meath, Ireland, and Lawrence McDermott of County Monaghan, Ireland. Your books have shipped, and I hope they get there quick. You never can tell for sure, especially this time of year. Well, that reminds me that I need to say thanks to all of our members and let you know that without your help and support, getting the books and joining up as members, we wouldn't be here, so we sure do appreciate it, each and every one. Let me see. I'll take one letter from the mailbag today. It says, "Dear Mike, thanks for confirming my order. I was wondering if you could help locate a book written by Maurice Riley." Now, I read that as Riley, but it's spelled R-Y-L-E, so it could be Maurice Ryle. But I just thought it was Riley. Dealing with all these names all the time, you never know how it's pronounced. But the book was called The Kingdom of Kerry. She's looking for the second edition in 1903 and says she searched various places but cannot find a copy to purchase. As you seem to be the expert in the field, I'd appreciate any help. Maurice Riley was a journalist and is my partner's great-grandfather. Look forward to hearing from you soon, Angela. Well, okay, Angela, we'll put the word out there. I don't have a copy of that book. I have a lot of other Kerry books because I traced family back there, the Donahues in County Kerry, so I got a lot of those works by Jeremiah King and some other histories, but not this one. So if anybody out there has a copy, wants to sell it, or knows where it can be obtained, give me a call and I'll pass the word on to Angela. And remember to phone 816-256-3360, and you can leave your order or your family search or ask a question. Just when you dial the number, it automatically goes through a recorder, so you can leave any message you want. And if it fits, I'll put it on the podcast and we'll help somebody out. It's always good to hear from everybody out there. I can't believe all the people that we actually have listening. And I know it's only one in every 20 or 30,000 that usually takes the time to call in. So please do if you got the inclination. Now, what are we going to take on here today? I think we're going to move right on to the family name of the week. And that's going to be Phillips and MacPhillips. And today's family history is in honor of member Doyle Phillips, who is currently residing in Mexico. And we'll be covering other names in this segment in future weeks. And some of those we've got online are Howe, Monroe, Dargans, Hastings, which is also Heston, Graham, Kennedy, Boyle, Dealey, and more. I list about 20 of them we're going to be doing on our show notes on the webpage, so you can check it out there if you have a mind. And possible related spellings of the name of Phillips and MacPhillips. You might find some connection with the name Phillipson becoming Phillips, and Philbin even, sort of like Regis Philbin. Philbin could be a MacPhillips. I don't know about that. That might be a stretch, but that's spelled Filban. And, of course, Philbin with a PH at the beginning. And even Filson, Filson, has had some interchanging at times with Phillips. Takes a little bit more research to know exactly what that means. And if we go to the Master Guide to the various spellings of Irish family names, we see it's in Irish variant spelling groups, number 1721, 1724, and 1723. Well, let's make a few comments on the history of the name. Let me open up the Book of Irish Families, Great and Small here, and see what it says. And it says that, there's a lot of the name that's of the name of Phillips that are actually from abroad, from outside of Ireland, like so many Irish names are. And Phillips is a very numerous name in England and Wales. A matter of fact, it's among the top 50 names in both places. That's pretty amazing in itself. And it says, while the name is found in many locations, one family of the name is found with lands in County Kilkenny in the 17th century. And according to Keating's history, the name of MacPhilip is also given as an Irish name, which was adopted by Anglo-Norman or English families in lieu of their original surnames. So you had some changing of the name here. And it's also a name that was adopted by the Burkes or the de Burgo family of the province of Connaught. And the 1890 birth index finds the family most numerous in Mayo, Antrim, and Dublin. If we move on down to the Irish Book of Arms, what are we going to find? Well, we see that there are 2 listings for the family name in the Irish Book of Arms, and 2 arms are illustrated there. One of them was taken from 1806, and that belonged to a Richard Phillips. And I think that looks like a lion rampant on his shield, maybe with a collar and a broken chain on it. But he married in 1764, and it gives a few other details. The second illustration of the arms for Phillips was those for Phillips Conn, Phillips-Conn, C-O-N-N, of Belturbet, County Cavan, and Mount Ida, County Kilkenny. And he has a different coat of arms, and it looks like there's a bird of some kind there. I don't know if you might have an owl or a falcon or an ostrich. I don't know. I'd have to see the words on that to be sure what that bird is, but you'd probably know if you took a close look at it. I just don't have a magnifying glass on me at the moment. Now, one of the last things we'll do for the name is, and you should do for your name if you haven't already, is take a look at that free master index of Irish names on our webpage. You get to do a free search, and when we do that for Phillips, we'll find over 70 listings of the name come up. And, of course, MacPhillips is found in the Annals of Ireland by the Four Masters, both with and without the Mac in families of County Cork, Ireland. And 19 listings in Londonderry Lands and Families are for Phillips, including some landowners, it looks like. And boy, there's just a whole lot of county books that have, our county books that have Phillips in them too, so there'll be no lack of resources if you're hunting around for Phillips in Ireland. It's time to stop and take a look at the website of the week. We're going to have 2 of them. I found 2. The first one is the Irish in Philadelphia, and you can find out about what's going on in Philadelphia and music, dance, even genealogy, and they've got a little podcast there too, a little audio thing I quickly turned into, and more on their webpage. So that's definitely worth it, and that's at www.irishphiladelphia.com. And the second one is, it's for you if your family or you've got family in Scotland that you're researching, and you know there's a lot of crossover between Scotland and Ireland, so you might be interested in this. Scotland's first family history center is open, and it's at Dundee, Scotland. That's the first of its kind. Now, it combines the registrar's office, the city archivist, the local history library, and the burials administration section. That's pretty good, and I believed the whole thing until I came to the part where it says, and I quote, "Staff in the center at Central Library should be able to trace most families back to the late 17th century." Well, now, that's a very dangerous statement to be making, especially to all the genealogists in the world that are out there researching. But if you've got ancestors in Scotland, or if your Scottish ancestors settled in Ireland, it might be a resource to consult. One little curious news and note today, since we're in the holiday season. I can't go too long today, but I recently saw an ad for the following online at Best Buy Canada, and I sort of got a kick out of it. It's for a DNA maternal ancestry package. Now, you can buy that online and just walk away with it, and of course they talk in very glowing words about what this package will do, but the maternal ancestry package isn't usually what genealogists are after. It's most often for the paternal line, because you can trace back your ancestors much easier by going through the male DNA. There's more errors made by the men in their DNA, so it's easier to track back. And most women will agree with you that there's more errors made by men in just about everything, I think. But they're advertising it as it'll just link you to all kinds of things, and I think you'd better stay away from this one unless you know what maternal ancestry is or maternal DNA. And it's better being safe than sorry on this unless you're sure of it. So that's enough for that today. Let me see. Events, well, we're going to pass on events. We just don't have the time. I might spend on the next time go over events throughout the world that I find. Send in your event to me and I'll include it in the next broadcast. And remember to send your books, music, or family search to me here at the Irish Roots Cafe by email or by regular mail to our American address at the Irish Roots Cafe, Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri 64116. Leave your message or report on how things are going in your part of the world on my phone recorder, and that number is 816-256-3360. Or you can Skype me at Mick the Bridge. That's MICKTHEBRIDGE. Members foot the bill, so they get first priority, but we're open to all. And by the way, a big thank you to all of our members. And away.